All right, folks. Good morning. Markets will be opening shortly. Well, in about 40 or 50 minutes or so. Anyway, 40 minutes. Anyway, let's get started. So for today, January the 16th, Thursday, we have the following information. All right, at 8:30 a.m., we had core retail sales month over month, which came in softer than expected. Retail sales month over month came in softer than expected. Unemployment claims came in higher than expected. The Philly Fed Manufacturing Index came in better than expected, and import prices came in better than expected. So, mixed bag, but most of the more important data came in worse than expected. So, in theory, that should be positive for the market. Now, as of right now, the QQQ ETF is trading higher than where it closed yesterday. Let's take a look at that. So, yesterday's action on the QQQ was mostly positive. We opened lower and closed higher. And it looks like we're moving up right now as well. Uh, Now, taking a look at yesterday's action, we found one stock uh, that worked out for us. We found two. One we broke even, the other worked out. And the one we found was that worked out was Micron. Micron was able to pass our target number two to the upside, which was 102.79, and we were able to take advantage of the move between target number one, which was at about $101.10, and target number two, which of course was 102.79. As I mentioned, Apple was bullish as well, but it got stuck, and we basically took a break even on that rather than sticking around. All right, looking at the pre-market, here's what we see so far. Give it a second. All right, so far we have quite a few stocks that are showing up, so let's go through them one by one and see if we can find anything that looks good. All right, so first one we're going to check is LAES. Sorry, LAES, forgot the S. Now that's currently up only 3.5%, so that does not qualify. We need it to be up at least 6% if it's up. And it's only up 3.5% roughly, so we'll skip that. I see Nvidia showing up on my scan. I don't think it's up enough, only 1.39%, but it did show up, so that doesn't qualify either. Next up is PALI, which is currently down 1.14%. It would have to be down at least 6% to qualify, so we can pass on that. Plug Power is next. That's up 5.9%, so just a little bit shy of the amount that we need, moving very slowly. So I'm going to put this as a possibility, but it doesn't currently qualify. So I'll just take a note that this is close. But as you can see, it's not really moving. So it has the percentage. It's almost there. It has the volume, has the price, but not quite there. Next up is PMAX. That is presently up 32.5%, 17.5 million shares. It's at least $1 per share. So we'll add that PMAX to the pre-market radar. Next up is QUBT. Let's see if that one's qualifying. That's currently up over 12%. Over 12 million shares are traded. It's at least $1 per share. That definitely qualifies. QUBT is now added. Next up is RGTI, and that does not qualify. It's only moved a 0.5%. Next up is RZLV. Presently, that's up about 20% on 3.2 million shares roughly. It's at least $1 per share. So we'll go ahead and add RZLV to the pre-market watch list. Next up is SLXN, which is presently down 18%. 2.9 million shares traded. It's at least $1 per share. That does fully qualify. So we'll go ahead and add SLXN to the pre-market watch list. Next up is SOUN, which is presently at 3%, so that wouldn't qualify, so we'll pass on that. Next up is Let's see. Next up is WHLR, Wheeler. That's currently up about 85%. We're 38 million shares. It's at least $1 per share. That fully qualifies for sure, so we'll add WHLR to the pre-market list. All right, so that's everything I see on my scan. Let me post that in the chat. If you guys see any other stocks that meet all four criteria that we're looking for, let me know. The four criteria are: number one, it must be a NASDAQ listed stock, trading at least $1 per share in the pre-market. Currently, it must have achieved at least 1 million shares of pre-market volume and at least a 6% price change, which can be positive or negative. PMEC is mentioned, so let's take a look at that. That is currently up 90% roughly, 6.5 million shares. It is at least $1 per share. So we can add PMEC to the list. Next up is SOBR. That is presently up about 29%, 34 million shares traded. And it's at least $1 per share as well. So we will add that to our pre-market radar as well. And then next up we have SYM, which is presently up 20% on 1.6 million shares. It's at least $1 per share. So we'll go ahead and add that to our pre-market watch list as well. All right. All right. So if folks see any other stocks, let me know. Also, please be sure to like the video. See, we have 4 likes, but more than 4 people watching. So please be sure to hit the like button. That greatly helps us with the YouTube algorithm. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you get notifications when we publish new videos. All right. We'll wrap up for today's Premarket Pulse then. If anyone's watching this on replay, this video on a replay, if you're not familiar with our company, check out fundertrading.com, our website. There is a link in the description to this video. Other than that, for everyone who's part of the coaching program, I'll see you there in about 27 minutes. We'll pick up for today's session. Other than that, folks, have a great trading session. I'll see you for tomorrow's Premarket Pulse. Take care, folks.